Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, David M coming at you here with another video, and this is VRmageddon part 3, my VR for Brian Hodges 1455. Brian, heck of a nice guy. He is a huge supporter of a ton of people in this community, and he always shows a lot of great stuff. He usually comes out with a couple 3 videos every week, it seems like, and they always he really has a nice collection. Always shows some great pickups, a varied collection, which I like, a lot of different sports, and just modern, vintage, all kinds of great stuff. So everybody please check out Brian Hodges 1455. Now he is celebrating 300 subs. Took him no time to get there. And so for this VR, he wanted us to show 3 players who we loved watching that aren't in the Hall of Fame, or that probably won't get into the Hall of Fame. Very tough to narrow that down to 3 because there was so many growing up that I loved. But it will begin and end, well, not end, but it will begin with one of my favorite athletes of all time, a guy I idolized growing up, Vincent Bo Jackson. What can you say about him, right? Just one of the great elite all-time athletes, and all-star in 2 sports. Just one of my absolute favorite players to watch in both. The 86 Topps Traded is one of my favorite all-time cards. I need to get the Tiffany version. I also really want to get an autograph version of it. It's quite pricey. I've missed out once or twice on it, but one of these days I'll have one. The 87 Future Star, also one of my favorite cards as a kid. And of course, Score did him right. So there's the iconic, the shoulder pads, helmet. And then there is one of my favorite cards as a kid, was this Bow Breaker card. I love these from 91 Score. And I especially loved him as a kid. Great stuff. I had posters of Bo on my wall. I remember in 5th grade, we used to have a weekly assignment where we would have to write a short little synopsis of like a news article or story. And I always picked Bo Jackson's game from that week, football game that particular year, for the time frame we had to do the assignment. Anyway, loved me some Bo Jackson. Now, next up, and a shout out to Rob at Cash Cards, because he showed an autograph of this guy, and I told him in his VR, as I did, I am going to do the exact same thing. Cubs legend Mark Grace. This sweet auto here, right in the sweet spot, right on the guts, on the white. Love Mark Grace, and spoiler alert, for Rob at Cash Cards, his VR is coming up as part of VRmageddon. But anyway, he showed the Grace, and of course he also pointed this fact out. I'm going to show one more Mark Grace auto. It's alongside the Don Kessinger, but that beautiful Mark Grace auto right there. Love that, both of these on card. Most everybody knows, Mark Grace led the decade of the 90s in hits. And again, Rob shared this in his VR. Mark Grace and Pete Rose, and we all know why Pete Rose is in the Hall, but they are the only 2 hitters ever to lead a decade in hitting that aren't in the Hall of Fame. So let's get Mark Grace in there, people. Come on. Anyway, loved Mark Grace, an all-time favorite. And then finally, tough to decide on a third. There's so many people that I love to watch grow up, but I decided on this guy. And part of the reason why, just because ironically, he was in Chattanooga tonight and actually speaking at the church I grew up in. I didn't go, but to this, but it's Darryl Strawberry here in the 1984 his star card set. And these are all uncut. This is the original, the whole set in the original packaging. Really cool. This is one of my favorite LCS finds of all time. Right there. And then, of course, this iconic 83 Topps Traded rookie. Loved watching Daryl Strawberry growing up. Not the best role model back then. Of course, I think, does preaching now. But anyway, always enjoyed watching Daryl Strawberry. All right, with that, once again, please check out Brian Hodges, 1455. And with that is on to the next part of VRmageddon. So everybody take care. I'll catch you next time.